VLAN. So why is VLAN required? As you can see, VLAN is required to break up a big network into small networks, wherein the small individual networks. As you can see the configuration here it is a server connected to a multi-layer switch connected to three switches. Now there are essentially four VLAN present here. The interface between the multi-layer switch and the server is in VLAN 100. The interface between the multi-layer switch and these three switches which are connected to the multi-layer switch are in VLAN 1 and VLAN 1, and the switches which are these computers the computer here is in VLAN 10, this computer is in VLAN 20, and this is VLAN 30. The connection between the server and multi-layer switch is a access mode connection between computer and switch is an access mode connection. The connection between computer and this switch is an access mode connection, and the connection between multi-layer switch and this multi-layer switch and the switch zero switch is an trunk connection. Trunk connection essentially has .q encryption enabled. Trunk connection is also called as management connection. Trunk connection is usually uh, between two switches and not end two switches or between a multi-layer switch and a router. As here it is between a multi-layer switch and a switch. Access mode is essentially used for endpoint devices in a network. So here the access layer switch is between the PC and the switch, and between the server and the multi-layer switch. Now I'll show you the configuration which I have run on the multi-layer switch to make it work. So on the multi-layer switch, first of all I'll have to create four VLANs, which I'll create with config. I'll enter into config team mode. Then VLAN 1, which is the VLAN of these three switches. Then VLAN 10, which is of VLAN of this computer. VLAN 20, which is of this computer, which is this VLAN, and VLAN 100, which is of this, which is server, between the server and the multi-layer switch. Now make an access mode connection between the multi-layer switch and server by this command. As you can see here, the interface is FA0/1, and the interface between the server and the multi-layer switch is also FA0/1. Similarly, I'll make a trunk mode connection between the multi-layer switch and a small switch. As you can see here, the FA0/2 FA0/2 interfaces between the small switch and the multi-layer switch. Similarly, these commands are run for FA0/4, which is the interface between the switch 1 and multi-layer switch, and same for third switch. So now as we have defined the VLANs here, we have to give VLANs their particular IP addresses. So I'll again enter into configuration mode of multi-layer switch. Into the interface VLAN 1 interface, I'll up the interface by clicking no shutdown, which ups the interface. The IP addresses, assign an IP address which is 10.1.1.254, which is the last IP address of the VLAN, and with subnet mask .0 255.255.255.0. Again, I'll enter into configuration mode to configure the VLAN 10 similarly, but the IP address here will be 10.1.10.254, which is the last IP address in the VLAN 10. VLAN 10 is this VLAN 20. Again, same similarly for VLAN 20 and VLAN 30 and VLAN 100 with different IP addresses. I'll show you the configuration. As you can see here, the VLANs and a trunk mode are already entered and connections made. I'll show you the VLANs. As you can see, VLAN 10 is active, 20 is active, and 30 is active, and 100 is connected at FA0/1, which is this port. Now let's go to the access layer switches. This is actually should be one. No, the same. This is the same config. This is configuration for access layer switch. We'll have to enter into config T mode. Then I enter into interface FA0/1, which is the interface between the multi-layer switch and the switch, and enable a trunk mode configuration. As I said previously, this is a trunk interface between the multi-layer switch and normal switch. To enable VLAN routing in a switch, I have to enter the command VTP. In the configuration mode, I have to enter the command VTP domain CCNA. Again, entering into configuration mode, I enter the command VTP mode client. This is essentially used for a VLAN to learn from a multi-layer switch and model and VLAN and modify the VLAN configurations accordingly. It learns from the multi-layer switch of different VLANs and then modifies its configuration. Now I'll enter into config T mode, and into interface FA0/2, which is this interface, and create an access mode interface between the switch and then switch and then computer, which is on VLAN 10, as said previously. As this switch is also connected to VLAN 1, I'll give an IP address to this switch, which is 10.1.1.1 with subnet mask 255.255.255.0. No shutdown. I'll up this interface VLAN 1 interface, and similar configurations are to be done on remaining are done on the remaining two switches. Now again I'll enter into configuration mode, and I'll give a default gateway to a switch. Default gateway is essentially an address where if a switch does not know where the destination of a packet is, default gateway is where the packet is then sent to. Thus we have implemented VLAN. Thank you.